Hello friends, welcome. Thank you for being here with me. I am Sara-Jane Gage and I am CEO of Engage Fitness. I am a Kripalu yoga instructor and functional fitness trainer. And this is our very first cooking lesson of Nutrition 101. Thanks for hanging out. So, in full disclosure, I am not a chef. I don't pretend to be. This is a really simple whole food recipe that I am confident anybody can make. It's also very cheap to make if you can get a good price on avocados. That's the only sticking point, is avocados can be pricey, but if you can find a good deal on them, it's a cheap recipe, very easy to make, and you can choose to make it gluten and dairy free if that's something that supports your nutrition goals. And the way you do that is simply choose gluten-free bread and don't put any cheese on it, or use a dairy-free cheese. So let's see what we can do here. I posted your supply list of what you need, but I'm gonna go over it once more. So as I go through these things, take a look around your space, make sure you have them. You're gonna need a big mixing bowl to put everything in. Bonus points if it matches your shirt and your watch, because I'm just noticing that. Come on. You need your big mixing bowl. The color doesn't matter. I'm just being silly. You do need a knife so that you can cut your avocado and your red onion. You need a can of chickpeas or garbanzo beans. Either is fine. They're the same thing. I don't know why they're labeled differently. And then you need spicy brown mustard. The rest is just seasoning, and the seasoning is meant to season it in a way that you like. My suggestion is garlic powder and salt and pepper, and usually that's plenty of seasoning, but feel free to play around with it as we start putting things together. You can certainly add into it whatever you like. So, starting with our produce, if you haven't washed your hands yet, please do. I'm gonna rinse mine off, because just before this, I was touching all this food and stuff, and even though I washed my hands, let's be safe, you know. Kitchen safety 101. Washing the hands. Making sure we have a nice sharp knife to cut through our avocado and our red onion. And it doesn't matter which you start with. You're going to find out really quickly that I am the least fancy cook, so it also doesn't really matter how you cut your onion. If you would like to cut it up cubed, I think that that's a nicer texture when you mix it into this chickpea smashed sandwich. But if you'd rather have it in slices, that's okay too. Cut it up however it works for you. It always cracks me up. My husband will jump in and help cook sometimes, which is very nice. But he'll ask me, well, how do you want this cooked? How do you want it cut? Excuse me. What size? What shape? My response is always, I don't care. Cut it however you want. He's like, do you want it to be even pieces? I don't care that much. It doesn't matter. Just cut it up. So cut up about a quarter of your red onion. About a quarter of it, maybe a half depending on the size. And then you want to cut into your avocado. So this is a trick that I learned on TikTok, admittedly. If you cut into your avocado and create a seam, so by cutting around in like a big oval shape, you can then twist your avocado, and you can see that right there. It just very easily comes out. I hate to admit this, but I have to be honest, because I always appreciate a good laugh, and I hope you enjoy laughing along with me as we de-seed it and throw it in the bowl. I used to sit there and fight with it and peel off all of the peel and struggle with it and fish the seed out instead of just doing this. So if you don't know that trick yet, cut it in half. Rotate it, the seed pops right out, then you can squeeze your avocado skin and it'll squeeze all of the avocado right into your bowl. Can't make it easier than that, right? Get rid of your avocado peels. Set them off to the side for composting if you do that. Maybe rinse off the hands once more, because avocado. And then grab your can of chickpeas. You want to drain them, so release any liquid that's in there. If the liquid in there creeps you out a little bit, like it does me, I don't know why, it just does, then feel free to rinse it off. Rinse the chickpeas first before you throw them in the bowl. And then we're gonna throw all the chickpeas, all of the avocado, and the red onions in your bowl. And so we've got our avocado, chickpeas, red onion, all in there together. You want to give a big, generous squeeze of your spicy brown mustard, because that's going to make it a little creamy, and it's also going to give it a really good flavor. If you like Panera Bread's tuna salad, this is their secret, FYI. I worked there once upon a time. Their secret is spicy brown mustard, and there's a reason. It's effective. It's really, really good. So, spicy brown. And then add your seasonings, whatever seasonings that you would like to use. So I had mentioned before that I suggest garlic powder and a little bit of salt and pepper, but you know what you like. I've used adobo before, that's really good. What else have I done? I've used an onion powder, some special spice mixes. You can really be flexible with it, which is also why this is a fun recipe. Very easy, cheap. Very often have most of the stuff on hand. Like I said, the only thing that's a little out there is the avocado. If you're not a person who eats avocados all the time, then make sure you grab one before you make this recipe and you'll be good to go. And so we've got it all in the bowl there now. If you have one of these, I love that I have this still. If you have one of these super fancy handheld mashers, you see that? That's some 2020 technology right there. If you have a handheld masher, personally, I think this is the best way to mash them. I think it works most effectively. That said, if you're not as cool as me with your fancy masher, then grab a fork. You can use a fork and push into it, or you can even just use a big spoon and smash into it. What you're looking for is to begin smashing the chickpeas and mixing everything together. The avocado will get mixed in there. So I'll show you what mine is looking like. We're just squishing it. It's called smashed for a reason. So smash it all up. If you did 108 sun salutations with me earlier, maybe you need 2 arms for this at this point in the day. Is that just me? I can't even believe, Corinne, that you did Steve's classes after that. A beast. We have beasts among us. And so you smash it up to whatever texture you like. So again, a lot of creative licensure here. I've done this before where I've very lightly mashed it and I've left a lot more solid chickpeas in it, so that there was a bit more texture and crunch to it. Even added celery, that's really good. But you can do this and really mash it if you'd like. If you'd like it to be like a little smoother, it's still gonna have texture, of course, but you decide when it's done being mashed. And while you do that, maybe put it on pause for a second. If you'd like to toast your bread, grab your bread and go ahead and throw it in the toaster so that it's ready to go when we finish this up. So I'm thinking of that because I keep my bread in the freezer. I use 3 Bakers, which is gluten-free. That's just my personal preference. It's a good deal at the local supermarket. And over the last year or so, I've been trying to fine-tune my nutrition and learn about what foods really support and fuel me versus which other ones are not really helpful for my particular body and my system. And what I've learned through that is that my body does not really love gluten, and it especially does not like dairy. So I choose to use gluten-free products when possible because I notice a difference in how I feel, how I think. I notice that when I'm actively consuming gluten, I tend to get bloated, a little uncomfortable. I feel foggy, mentally unfocused, fatigued. And with dairy, it's a lot uglier than that. It's all those things and then gross things. So the reason I bring that up, aside from the fun TMI while we cook, you're welcome, is also to encourage you to pay attention to your diet. You don't have to make radical changes and cut things out like dairy or gluten. That's not appropriate for everybody or even most. But I would suggest that at minimum, pay attention to how you feel when you eat. And that holds true not just for the hour after you're done eating, pay attention to how you're feeling then, but also pay attention to the next day. For some of us, even 2 days. If you have thyroid issues, things that slow down your metabolism in your system, it's gonna take a little while to get out of your system. So I feel the effects of dairy for 2 to 3 days sometimes, which makes it feel not worth it, right? I won't lie to you, I definitely had cheesecake on Christmas, but I made that informed choice knowing that I wouldn't feel good after that. And so it's a few and far between thing these days. So that said, as the bread finishes toasting up here, we've got our beautiful smashed mixture there. Mine is looking a little yellow because I put a lot of spicy brown mustard in mine, so yours might look a little different. Feel free to take a taste and sample it now. You can decide if you want to add more spices or salt or garlic powder or adobo or whatever. Or maybe it's good just how it is. I hope that's what your reaction was too. So, while our sandwiches finish up, because my bread is still toasting, the other thing I would suggest, going in hand with nutrition and just making choices about fueling your body, is know what you're eating. Know what you're putting in your body. And so what I mean by that is, if you're eating something out of a package, first of all, that's red flag number one. If it's coming out of a package, you need to make sure you read the ingredients. What you're looking for is whole foods that you can pronounce and you know what they are. So when we start getting into packaged foods, not all of them, but a lot of them, when they're in a package, they start saying all these really wacky things that not only do we not know what they are, but we certainly can't pronounce them. And we're ingesting them. And we're ingesting them day after day after day. And the cumulative effects of those chemicals and additives and processed things are no good for any of us. I don't think that there's any doubt in anybody's mind that that's true at this point. Look around at the health of the American people and how it has dramatically changed for the worst in the last 20 years. Look at the rates of obesity, of diabetes, of high blood pressure, of all of these things, specifically of stroke, heart disease, related directly to your diet and your lifestyle. There's a reason. So that's not to cause guilt or shame or anything like that. That's educational. That means you have to remember you have choices. And so even if it's something small like, hey, let me try those chickpea smashed avocado sandwiches Sarah was talking about instead of tuna today, just to see how I feel, see if it's different, notice. That's a small step. Just pay attention to it. That's all it is. Awareness is half the battle. So whether it's noticing how you feel when you eat one thing or the other, noticing the timing of your eating. So I've talked before in the Choosing to Be Well group about intermittent fasting. And intermittent fasting is just the new fancy term these days for allowing your body time to rest and digest. As human beings, we were never meant to eat as often or as much as we do, and there's a lot of reasons that happens these days, largely marketing and business and that stuff. But the reality is that our body needs the opportunity to rest and digest. And so I choose to follow a 16 and 8 intermittent fasting schedule, which just means that I don't put any calories into my body for 16 hours. I instead eat all of my regular calories, all my regular foods that I would eat in any other diet or lifestyle or whatever. I eat them in 8 hours. And what that does is it gives my body the time to rest and digest during the 16. Because we were not meant to be shoveling things in our face all the time. We do that for so many reasons. So many reasons. None of which are good. So, my friend, throw your sandwich together, get your bread, put your chickpea smashed avocado mixture on there, try it out, let me know what you think. If you have questions about this recipe, if you have questions for upcoming Nutrition 101 segments, I'm happy to oblige and to customize when I can. This meal I made as accommodating to as many as I could was my thought. So it is vegan, it has the opportunity to be gluten-free and dairy-free, and it's on the cheaper side with the exception of avocados. Every once in a while we know they like to jack those avocados up, and that's just a bummer. So friends, for nutrition tip takeaways from here, keep it simple, aim for whole plant-based foods ideally, but whole foods, you know what they are, you can pronounce them. You don't have to do a big long Google search to figure out what's in your food. Give your system time to rest and digest. Preferably, the most documented and highly researched and supported is the 16 and 8 fasting schedule. But even if you lengthen out your fasting overnight, so from the time that you finish dinner till the time you have breakfast in the morning, if you have a 12-hour break, you're gonna notice a difference. If you have a 13-hour break, you're going to notice a difference. Up to 16 hours. When you go over 16, don't bother. You're gonna do damage. It's not helpful. I won't get into all of that research now, but if you wanna see it, let me know. I have research articles and I have some documentaries that you can watch as well to learn about that. But the most recommended is 16 and 8. You just wanna give your body time. Time to heal, time to recover, time to just be and get back to our basics and being more balanced, right? Till next time. Let's see. Oh, Corinne likes it. Good. And you added mushrooms. Good idea, girl. I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I'm going to go eat mine before my next class because I don't know if you guys knew. I've been a little busy today. It's been a busy day. Till next time, be safe, be kind, choose to be well, enjoy your lunch. Have a great day.